Hey folks, welcome back. I'm the Mysterious JG, and apparently I've got a screw loose or something. Because I went back and watched, and while admittedly for me it was a couple of weeks between recording sessions this time, but the plot thing that I was trying to trigger, the little mission video thingy-majigger, we already saw it in the last video of the last recording session. It was the one where Hope and... I guess I'll go back and double check and make absolutely positive, because I just kind of quick saw it and didn't listen to it, but Hope kind of teases Vanille a little bit. Yeah, that was it. That was the one I remembered, and for some reason I thought that I saw it while grinding, but in fact I saw it while recording, so you guys have already seen it, so that would be why it won't trigger again. Yeah, but the whole thing with them going to the city and seeing the city, life in the city, something. Yeah, no, that is a new thing, and there's a couple of other little short sequences that we will have to see. But for right now, Geiseric the Profane was going to be the biggest stumbling block towards me getting the Chocobo and showing you a couple of other little things before we load our save slot. Oh, I forgot to get my timer running, but I know exactly what I intend to do in this video, so if it takes significantly less than half an hour, I guess in this video we'll start moving to new plot stuff, but I doubt it. I imagine this will be our last video of JG showcases what he did in hours of off-screening. That's massive contamination. Now I'm looking now for something called Eternity Unpromised. Oh, you know what? I think I need to go down this little path and actually, even though that's not where it is on the map, I think I need to go notice that that thing has been cleared. I don't know how to get past these guys without triggering a fight that I don't feel like dealing with. Because they're kind of right in the way. There we go. Guys, I'll just be Geiseric the Profane. You haven't got a chance. Ah, damn it! I can't quite figure out how to get around these guys without triggering a time-wasting battle. If they all focus in on lightning like that, we can lose.
Thank you.
Thank you for making us laugh about love again. Fuck it. I'm just avoiding them. I'm trying to make good time here. None of the chrysanthemum points or any item drops are going to be of any use to us here. I guess it was this way you had to go. Yeah. It's basically 3 ways that look like you could go. Only one of them will actually work. So now we go in here and hey, check this out. We're going to come into a new area. Although, I thought the Seath Stone, for the next mission, we should have seen by now, so... Another one of these jerks. Maybe we have to come in here and see the cinematic where you notice Chocobos for the first time before, that Seath mission will appear. Because there's 2 Seath hunt missions we gotta do here before we knock out... Before we get the ability to get Chocobos, and then we're done.
Wait, I know that smell.
Fang, did you beef?
I knew it. Hey, you!
What up, gangster?
Are you kidding me?
That...
Whoa!
What the hell?
Wait! Wait!
Queequeg,
Hey,
are you meditating on the deck and foretelling the death of the crew?
why don't you go say hi?
This is like the Zaz theme, I guess. It's Zaza.
You keep growing like that, you'll be bigger than me before long, won't you?
I already got a bigger intellect, pal.
Maybe it'd be best to just say goodbye here.
What?
Hey, oh! Come on!
I hate my own kind. You should know that.
Jeez! Come on, I was just kidding.
I'm never gonna let you go free. You're my slave forever.
Yeah, I know. You're sticking with me till Dodge wakes up.
Then you're gonna eat us both.
Could be a long wait. No one knows. Oh. Quick.
I wonder if he ever feeds it. Or if it lives off of things it picks out of his hair.
Hey! What? Oh,
Yeah, you're creepy as hell.
Watching me or something? Say something. Or something?
Didn't want to interrupt. And, you know, I didn't quite know where to begin.
Alright, well then, back the fuck off, bitch.
You don't have to begin anywhere. What happened to Dodge? Wasn't your fault.
But, Sass,
Never said it was, mate.
You got more than enough weight in your shoulders already.
You're carrying a lot
My
of
fault
extra
that you're
pounds there.
letting Dodge out of my sight like that. That one's on me.
Well, I didn't expect to let him out of my sight for 2 minutes and a
you're
bunch of
just gonna
space
deal with
asteroids would
that
show
on your
up.
own. Is that it?
What, now she's bitching him out?
I
You
don't
fucking
have to.
destroyed his son's
I got
life.
this guy. And you? You got Vanille. You weren't alone. That kept you going, didn't it?
I think I got the better end of that deal. I got a Chocobo chick. You got that dumbass Vanille.
Trying to act all parenty.
Well, don't give up. You're getting the hang of it.
Someday,
Really.
I'll turn Vanille over to you to take care of. Oh, Dad. He's just upset. He knows the day's coming where Kerrigan will kill all of his Cerebrit brothers. Let her go, Zaz. Okay, so I think I needed to trigger that before I can get the next Mark mission. Because at this point, we can't do anything with the Chocobos. I'm not going to bother to showcase it, but if you go up to them, you don't really have any option to interact with them. They're just kind of there. 2 more Mark missions, and we can go up to Chocobos, and they will be like a treasure chest with a little icon floating over them. And if you click A, you get to ride the Chocobos. Or the Chocobo. You don't get to ride multiple Chocobos at the same time. You don't get to, like, you know, do stunt riding where you've got your left foot on one Chocobo, your right foot on the other, and you're kind of like between them. And I don't think you get to do any kind of side saddle riding either. Ride me sideways? That was another one? Alright. So now I think a new Seath Stone should have popped up somewhere over here. Maybe this one. Remember now. I think this is the one, actually. Should be called Eternity Unpromised. That's it. It is a cruel and contemptible contest the falsely have devised, but one from which I may not yet absent myself. We assembled to see must overcome innumerable obstacles, and we must compete to slay the Jock Goblin chieftain on the northern high plain. The prize? Freedom from bondage to the sea. I will win, be made human again, and return to propose to my lover, from whose arms the tyrant falsely stole me. Notice the gender-neutral language. At any rate, this mission will actually take us right up to the exits. So, taking a look here, this is where we actually entered. You can see this whole base, whole regions I haven't explored at all on this save. But this is the entrance. We made our way all the way over here. Down here is where all the Chocobo stuff's happening. And we actually, the mark we want is up here in this corner we haven't explored yet. Oh, see, it actually shows it to you. But that is the exit. So it's all in that same direction. Which means that if we didn't have to double back to get the Chocobos and play around with them, the game is guiding you to, at this point, it's like if you haven't already moved on, they're like really trying to get you to get the F out of here and go on with the plot. Whereas I spent almost as much time as it took to get to this point in the game grinding around here to get awesome items and lots of skills to pay the bills. And actually, I am taking an unnecessarily dangerous path, skirting close to some of the tougher enemies. Like, with my most leveled party that we will be loading state to play as, I still can't beat these guys. Oh, damn it. Well... these guys aren't too bad when they're by themselves. Oh, actually, I don't know that. It's just a different species. It's a palette swap of something that I fought before. These things might be a real pain in the ass for this party. Oh no, it's decreased Vanille's physical attack power. I guess it's time to start fighting it. It's got a lot of debuffs on it now. Beating Swoop is a nasty piece of business, but it looks like we interrupted it. So that's good. Either that or just didn't do that much damage. I can't tell which end of this thing is its damn phase. Looks like its butt is also a phase. Is it butt phase? There's a whole new meaning to ass phase. Yeah, we had prevented it from acting with debuffs, so that was nice. Abominable Snowwing. I guess that allows us to get this treasure chest. Take this severed ways. The whole map area devoted to those guys over here. I'm not sure if I explored this particular corner of the map that carefully in my off-screening. There is... now, Chocobos began appearing on the map now that we've done the missions that we've done. But we won't be able to ride them until we do another 2 missions. I'm almost positive this Chocobo wouldn't be here if we hadn't gotten that cinematic with Zaz. It just runs away from me, though. Now those dinosaurs, they're a little bit smaller. I can actually beat them with the, wouldn't be able to beat them with this party. I'll be able to beat them with the party that I got after all the grinding. Some deal. I mean, There is a cinematic about the strange wolf, but I didn't think we could unlock it here. There's a different set of sheep you have to play with. And it is Vanille who suddenly expresses an interest in strange wolf. Okay, I want to avoid that guy. At this point, I can beat him if I have a premature what do you call it? Not a premature ejaculation. You have a preemptive strike. Now there is the actual mark. Don't believe I need to use a bunch of debuffs to win this one, but it'll definitely be easier if I can sneak up. Damn it! Thought I had it. Alright, well I'm gonna beat the minions first, but I believe in this one if you defeat the boss first, one of the minions can transform into the more powerful version. Although he is casting Goblin Enhancement, which is his male enhancement attacks, where he increases the goblin's penis size and prevents premature ejaculation, as we were discussing earlier. That took forever. I'm just remembering how fast this battle goes when you fight it using my more advanced party, because I actually grinded against these guys a little bit for one of the item drops. Just a little, because I eventually decided that it just wasn't being very efficient. I thought about switching over to heal, but I think we'll be okay for hopefully until we finish this guy off. Now that there's fewer of the enemies, we won't be getting damaged quite as quickly. Although Goblin Punch appears to have just totally owned Vanille.
Change of plan.
The
Stay calm.
boss Goblin guy doesn't seem to be doing much of anything.
Time for another approach.
Yeah, it's not the most impressive and high-speed victory against this Mark that you'll ever see, but they really don't like Vanille, do they? I guess they've figured out what they think is the weakest link. Goodbye. But if you were like able to do some kind of, you know, versus mode where you could control the monsters against the human player, you would always want to focus on the party leader, since in this particular game they've set up this frustrating mechanic where if they lose, the game is over. Even though you're allowed to bring other people back. If you couldn't bring anyone back in mid-battle, that would be fine. It would change the strategy a bit from other Final Fantasy games. But it would be internally consistent throughout the game. This whole thing where you can bring back your supporting characters, but the party leader has to stay alive, I just don't get it. Get that, stagger up just a little bit higher, and then I think we'll switch to aggression. Yeah, this is doing a hell of a lot more damage than the magic attacks of the Ravager were. Oh, goodness. There we go. And it's taking me a bit longer to get to these Chocobos and showcasing that stuff than I thought it would. I was really hoping quite a while ago I would be ready to actually progress the plot. But it's given you a little flavor of some of what I had to do to actually to get into the position where I was able to go around grinding, finding the best items. You need Chocobos to reach some of these elevated areas where the treasure chests are at. I mean, we're going to have really good gear for this point in the game when we move on to the next bit of plot. And as you're seeing, there's a bit of work involved in getting there. The Brady Game Strategy Guide recommends not doing it. But, you know, I have this weird weakness for these older RPGs that where grinding is kind of like part of the process. Okay, so I'm checking the little guide here to see where the next Seath Stone is. There's one more Mark mission we need to do to, let's see. Actually, should be practically on top of it. But there's one more Mark mission we're going to need to do to get the Chocobos on our side. Somewhere around here. There it is. This Seath Stone, unless I'm mistaken, which I could well be. This should be it. When we do the Mark mission that this one will set us on, we should then be able to ride Chocobos. Defender of the flock, leader of the pack, Sahagin. The great and wise Sahagin. He was like an adopted father to Sniper Wolf. But his infestation threatens the steppe well, it's probably Nita's fault, really. Threatens the steppe chocobos who roost at the font of Namba. Those gentle souls I've known since I was a child. Oh great, it's frickin' Clasco from Final Fantasy X and X-2. The great and merciful Fall Sea heard my plea and granted me the power to save them. I may never again be able to feel the warmth of their golden down, but I can think of no happier way to spend eternity than watching over them from the water's edge. Seriously, I never really... Clasco's not quite as weird. He is pretty weird, but he's not focused on his weirdness so much in Final Fantasy X. It's his few appearances in Final Fantasy X-2, but I mean, there's like this real Equus vibe with Clasco and the Chocobos, as in the play. I think we also blinded them. I haven't read it except the one time, and that was years ago. Don't have sex with horses. You'll end up like Catherine the Great did. She was known as the Great, in spite of, and not because of, the fact that she had sex with horses. I don't know if it's ever, is it actually like accepted and proven as true that Catherine the Great died when a horse fell on her? She was under the horse trying to, you know, or if that was just a rumor spread by her enemies. I'm not sure. It's a great story, though. So anyway, folks, last mark mission we will be showcasing before we get to much later in the game, if I decide to showcase any of that. Snow, you online, buddy? You haven't said anything for a while.
Huh? Hurry the what up?
I was about to say, kill those
Someone's
fuckers!
had their feathers ruffled.
Oh, this is a mission where I should have brought in Zaz. Yeah, no, if I was going to switch the party to include Zaz, I should have done it for this. I didn't really think about that, though. Maybe I'll get my chance. Damn it, I wasn't really hoping for that. Happy Chocobo music as you die. No, I'm not going to bring in Zaz. His equipment is significantly inferior to Lightning's at this point. But, and it will be when I load the next save thing too. But no, that was just bad. Sometimes you die right out of the gate because you're switching to a healing thing and you don't get it off in time. But that was just like, do 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 do. You just died. You weren't confident. It's like, shuffle the fuck up.
Time for another approach.
Man. They're like dealing a lot of damage here, let's put it that way. I'm not in a great rush though. This is a safe, but a very slow but safe way to go. Just have Lightning attacking while Fang absorbs damage and Neo keeps her alive. Although it seems like even this approach, Fang is in constant danger of death. Should gradually get better as I actually eliminate some of the weaker enemies. But... Jeez, yeah, I really shouldn't have to do this. Jeez!
Stay down.
Just stay there, man! feeling worthless? Worthless. Okay. Cut their numbers in half. Maybe we can actually do some things now. It's going to be a little bit more aggressive and not make this take forever in a day. Oh no, we've gotten to the lyric part of the theme. That means we've taken too long. Pretty sure that we just let Fang... Oh no, Fang survived.
Keep the enemy off balance.
With our incompetence that it wasn't expecting. Who's to say the Sahagin don't deserve a chance to live and thrive over in this area? Just gonna protect the Chocobo because they're cute. Your brain will rock with my music. You will not be destroyed. Mission complete. We got Gaishal Reigns, and that is the item that's gonna actually let us do crap with the Chocobos. We will kill you. And our rank is now Feathered Friend.
Later and you'd have been plucked.
Plucked is a euphemism in this case. Chocobos! These majestic yellow birds. Majestic? Yellow birds allow you to cover greater distances than you could on foot, in only a fraction of the time. There are also locations that only Chocobos can reach, indicated by swirling yellow indicators on the ground. To mount a Chocobo, well, first of all, at least buy a dinner. Chocobos are courageous creatures, but even they have their limits. My patience has its limits. Come into contact with an enemy while riding, and the Chocobo will lose 1 unit of morale. Should a Chocobo lose all of its morale, it will throw its rider and flee. Otherwise, lost morale will gradually recover so long as no more close encounters occur. Chocobos also possess an uncanny knack for detecting buried treasure. When you pass near hidden treasure while riding a Chocobo, an icon will appear above the bird's head. The closer you come to the treasure, the faster this icon will bounce. Once you have discerned the treasure's location, press A to dig it up. And that's... Hello, mate! Getting to locations you couldn't...
Huh?
Guys, shut up. Although probably everybody has cutesy dialogue in this area, so let's switch up our battle team. Just because I'm... It's fine. Probably, yeah, everybody has stuff they say to the Chocobos. So let's hear it. And then I'm immediately proven wrong. You guys got nothing to say to the Chocobos? See fiddle scales. Maybe if we left and came back, I certainly don't care enough to do that. Anyway, the treasure hunt thing is basically the best way at this point in the game to earn gil. And I mentioned that we had the store that we could go to for yeah, only certain Chocobos. In this screen, only certain Chocobos can be ridden. On all other screens, you can ride any Chocobo you find, because you're only going to find Chocobos out by themselves. You don't find them in big groups. Oh, I haven't actually seen him mount the Chocobo before. I had Lightning as my party leader when I was off screening. So I didn't notice he had a little goofy comic relief one. So the Sahagin are not actually gone, but apparently the Chocobo are no longer threatened because they're staying a few extra inches away. But yep, this is it, folks. Exciting Chocobo action. They allow you to get to new areas, and the treasure hunt thing, most of the things, there's like random, when you go dig up a treasure with the Chocobo, they like send treasures out to semi-random locations. There's a specific number of locations that can have treasures, and every time you enter this main area, there's a total of 5 of those, however many will actually have a treasure in them. And then there's a couple of different items that it could be. Some are more valuable than others. Most of them are ones that you can sell for a decent amount of gold, although a few of them are not. And although I ended up selling them, and I might come back to bite me later, a lot of them are also those reaction elements that you use for upgrading stuff. You can find them with the Chocobo treasure hunt. So what I'm going to do is just kind of head over towards the... I'm heading over here to where we generally enter. This is like where we enter this area. Right over here. You go down that path. If we try to go down that path, the Chocobo will kick us off. Because we'll be leaving the area. But this is where I would come in, and this is what my looking for gil was like. I ran around basically in a circuit around this entire big open map, waiting for the Chocobo to notice treasure. And I would generally get... Usually I didn't end up finding all 5. I would usually get 3 or 4 out of the 5, and then decide, well, wherever the last one is, it's taking too long to search. I'm just going to leave the area, come back, and reset all the treasures. And like I said, they tended to be things that you could sell. And I needed a fuckload of gold because I decided that although I wasn't going to level everyone's weapons up all the way, I really wanted Zaz to have a better weapon. So I got him, even though it required dark matter to do it, I leveled up the weapon he had to its next stage. Now you see a little exclamation point appears. So you kind of trace around it, moves faster as you get closer. If it slows down, you know, it's like a game of hot-cold. And I didn't do this quite enough to really completely memorize exactly where these things were. But I did figure out roughly, like I knew which areas to walk through to have a good chance of finding them. I think, according to the Brady Games guide, there are intervals. Like the first treasure you ever find is locked. It's going to be a specific treasure. I think the 5th, the 10th, the 15th, and the 20th are also specific. And then the other ones are random. And those locked-in treasures are higher value ones. I think this is going to be a gold nugget, if I recall correctly.
What do we got here?
Maybe not. Yep. Gold nugget is like the... In my opinion, it's the best thing you could find in the Chocobo minigame because it has the highest sale value. So now we've just hopped up. This is an area we couldn't reach without the Chocobo. It's going to take us to a new area of the map. An area of the map that generally is populated by enemies that are too tough for us to fight, and we want nothing to do with. However, there is a cinema scene in here that I want to see. And depending on whether people ask to see it, are interested in seeing it, and whether I feel like doing it, we might have some post-story stuff where I do some of the optional bosses, and they're hanging around in here. The optional bosses in this game are all mark missions. Some of the marks that you can fight in these mark missions I've been doing, like the difficulty scales up significantly, and some of these mark missions are actually tougher than the final boss. There's no Omega weapon in this game, or Ultima weapon, but the closest you're going to get to that are these mark missions. Nice, buddy. So there should be a cinema here. It's kind of like 1.5. Hey. Hey!
What do you think these guys look like sheared?
He's not even talking about the sheep, he's talking about Zaz. What a douchebag. Okay, so... balloon stalks.
I get the feeling these things are smarter than they look. I mean, just to have survived here.
I got a feeling you don't know what you're talking about. So we examine this thing and we get a little cutesy cinema scene with Vanille.
Vanille?
With goofy music. Goofy Chocobo music.
That's a good boy. Don't get mad.
You really shouldn't have to say that to boys that you're talking to when you're a girl, but...
You're not mad, are you?
I was just making fun of your junk.
Just mean it.
What are you doing? Stop that!
You don't yank wool.
Sorry about
Well,
that.
maybe you
No
do.
hard feelings, huh?
Wasn't that totally worth all those different boss fights that we did? That's not the reason I showed you that, but... So there's other sheep around that you can get different wolves from. I don't... It's written up as a sub quest, side quest, but I really don't understand what the frickin' point of the wool is. It's just it's a component item that you can use, and it's not that good. So fluffy it nearly begs to be squeezed. I mean, it has a cutesy description, but it's really not that good. And then there was a cinema that came up over here. And I remember in my previous pre-LP playthrough attempting to fight the boss that triggers here. Because spoilers, there's going to be a boss right here. Spoilers for like 5 seconds from now. And I lost, and I never came back and tried it again. It's about the time where I just gave up on playing any more of the post-story stuff. I just couldn't be bothered anymore. But there's a boss. There is, I think, no way we're going to beat him right now.
Hey, I might be a hero. I don't think I'll be slaying next time.
Let's give that one a wide berth.
There have been plenty of things in the game that looked tougher than that. That we beat easily. Like plot bosses that you can't evade that just looked way nastier than that thing does. Anyway, there's one other little cinematic that I want to showcase. And then we also would like to have a big close-up of a... Actually, you know what I want to do? This is kind of silly. Really not so much worth doing. But now, I'm curious about seeing the different characters mounting the Chocobo. Because I didn't realize... It didn't occur to me that there would be a goofy comic relief one for Zaz. Now I was curious. I've seen Lightning do it about 100 times. I'm not going to bother to show you that. It's really not much to it. Yeah, didn't think there'd be anything particularly special about Snow doing it. Doubt there'll be anything special about Fang doing it. There might be... Vanille they might try to make sexy in a creepy kind of way, and Hope may or may not get a comic relief one where he's like intimidated by, you know, oh, Chocobo, I'm just a little kid. I'll check out Fang real quick. Oh no, she does ride side saddle. I find that kind of amusing. I mean, I guess that's because she's been riding Chocobo since she was a little girl, you know, being from Space Australia and all. And Vanille actually is a little girl, so I wonder if she'll ride side saddle. Ride me sideways, that's another one. Alright. It's gonna make us quick go through this. Always makes you want to reset your paradigms. They didn't particularly go overboard with being sexy, which is nice. So now we'll watch Hope do it. Why? I don't know. I just had the sudden Jones to see everybody mounting a Chocobo. I probably should see Hope. Except Lightning, because I've seen that 100 times. Nope, pretty much Fang riding side saddle and Zaz getting a comic relief one where he just kind of jumps on it and hangs on the wrong way. Well, rights himself before riding, but yeah, that's about it for exciting variations. So apparently Final Fantasy XIII-3 is going to come out eventually. They've just decided they're... I don't know why they picked this story as being the first one where they'd suddenly just start making a whole series. They made one sequel to Final Fantasy X. apparently decided that was an awful idea. Certainly, I could have seen them carrying that on. Not that Final Fantasy X-2 was a particularly great game story-wise, but there was room for more. I think I mentioned in Final Fantasy X that, or maybe it was just in the comments of something. In Final Fantasy X-2, Yuna has, like, Yuna, along with Riku and a new girl, form a sort of trio of female... I'm not going to bother to find this treasure. You saw how that works. But, actually, I think I know where it is, though. And it is where we're going, actually. So, we have to try to evade these dinosaurs. But, yeah, they sort of formed their own new supergroup of... Oh, never mind. This wasn't where I was going to look, but... They formed their own supergroup of girl adventurers. And then I had this notion that the third game would be cool if somehow it involved, like, jumping back and forth between multiple parties, like Kustera style. And you had Yuna with her girl adventurer Gullwing group. You had some group that consisted of, like, Waka, Lulu, and Titus, maybe? Or Mari, some combination. And then you had, like, Orin, Braska, and Jex. I thought that would be really cool for some reason. So, this is the location up here somewhere of the last... See, look at all these giant dinosaurs that we can't really be messing with. This is the location of the last cinematic that I wanted to showcase. And here it is. I was just about to worry as to whether or not it was going to work. You were on a Chocobo a minute ago. What happened? There was only one of you.
What's that?
Oh, I know what that is.
Oh! Chill out there, Greenie. Hey now, stop that already. Oh, you asking for it now.
Really, it's just...
Come here, you! Oh,
What?
you think you real hot stuff, don't you? You just wait until next time, big... guy. Oh no, head spinning. Don't go hurling now.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about how Zaz is such a great character. Some of the comic relief with Zaz, I don't quite know. Comical Negro, like this is a Jerry Bruckheimer game.
That thing rolls over us, we're finished.
It keeps... What?
What's wrong?
I'll be right with you. Sorry, folks. I had something I needed to take. A little adjustment that had to be done here in my setup. Okay. I'm not used to lightning providing, like, silly, pointless side dialogue. So we are going to do one last thing before I load state. We are going to try and fight one of these dinosaurs. We are going to try and fight one of these dinosaurs because there's more than one species of those dinosaurs. You can tell the difference between them. There are some minor differences in their... Well, some of them are simply different sizes. You can, learn to tell which ones are which. But, no, that's not what I want. That, yeah. We're gonna try and defeat the type that I can beat using the party that I'm used when I finished all my grinding. And it's not that one. It's that smaller one. Although it's not particularly easy, and I'll occasionally lose, like maybe one out of every 3 or 4 tries I'll lose. The group that we are about to load a save slot and take over can defeat these guys. Let's see if we can defeat them now. You can't sneak up on them, so don't bother. Okay, well, looks like we can survive an attack. The problem with the guys that look similar to this but are bigger or slightly different decorations is you can't even survive that first attack. All three of your characters are automatically wiped out by the first attack. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna go with these guys.
No.
Whoa, that was kind of weird. So after all of that, ultimately, I'm going to quit. Did quite a lot that I didn't save there because I was showcasing how to get the chocobos. I sure hope nothing happens with this recording now that I think about it. But, well, saving wouldn't have helped. I'd still have to go through and do it all again while the recording was working. But now we are going to, at long last, load the game. 69 hours, 50 minutes, 58 seconds. Jesus, JG, get alive. Ah, that was over quite a long time. I mean, that was a couple of weeks worth of playing for, you know, well, that's the entire length of the LP up to this point, everything. But the difference between that and the last stuff that you'd seen is like 15, 20 hours. That's 2 hours here, 2 hours there, watching a movie leveling over the course of a couple of weeks. So it wasn't too bad. Through his battle with Alexander, Hope renews his determination to impress Worf. Because, you know, Worf loves it when people kick the crap out of Alexander. Yeah, so... Pardon me. Sorry about that. Don't know what that sounded like. I had to adjust the headset there. We're back now at the entrance to this place. Not to totally embarrass myself by showcasing just how much time I spent on the chrysanthemum. Lightning is almost maxed out to where she can be on the super, like the secondary rolls are very expensive to get crystals. She's almost maxed out on the saboteur roll. She is maxed out on the synergist roll. Oh, sorry, again, I got this itch in my ear. And the sentinel roll she hasn't started. Or actually, yeah, she hasn't started that one. And she's maxed out on her primary rolls. Vanille maxed out on her primary rolls. She's working on and almost finished the commando roll. Has nothing in the sentinel roll. And has finished... Damn it! I accidentally... I got some kind of... I don't know if it's malware exactly, but... Occasionally my Internet Explorer just jumps up and throws an ad at me when I'm not even using it. Not Internet Explorer, but Google Chrome. Never mind. So my synergy... You won't see it in the recording, but it fucks with what I'm seeing for a moment. And my synergist is totally maxed out. And this is what's frustrating for Vanille. She has a really high magic stat, so you think she'd be a good synergist, but she's apparently, for whatever reason, she's the only synergist. Nowhere in her development as a synergist does she learn haste. Otherwise, it would be just obvious. Make that her secondary role. Don't worry about Commando and Sentinel unless you just want stat boosts. And then you can have her be the synergist in a party if you're using the girls. She gets all the best synergist spells except haste. And you kind of need haste. In the meantime, Bang actually has haste. It's the last thing she learned. 48,000 chrysanthemum points to get it. Not to mention the many hundreds of thousands it took to get there. And she's working on Ravager. And according to the hint book, she's actually a better Ravager than some of the people who have Ravager as a primary skill set. Fang is actually one of the most overpowered characters in the game. And she hasn't worked on Medic yet because not everybody has to be good as a Medic. And same thing with these guys. All of them have their primary level skills are leveled up as far as they can be now. One of the secondaries is leveled up all the way, and then there's one of them where they're really close. Zaz is like... He's ridiculously small distance considering it's a secondary path away from finishing Saboteur, and then he'll go to work on Sentinel. And similar situation with Hope and Snow. Now let's look at their equipment. First of all, I got sprint shoes and Hermes sandals for the three ladies, because you get them by fighting that Bitius the Pillager guy. He doesn't drop them, but there's like a 1 in 1, like a ridiculously low chance, but he does drop. Not that low, but he'll drop, I think there's like a 5% chance that he'll drop a tetratic crown, and then if you get a 5-star rating, it multiplies that by 5 or something like. I don't know. It seems like he was dropping them less than 1 out of 4 times though. But yeah, there's something I don't understand how the numbers work, but he will very occasionally drop the tetratic crown and the tetratic tiara items, which I believe I still have some of these. And they do Tetra Defense, which is when you start out with a couple of those things, you know, positive boosts already applied, or it happens when you get into critical. If you level those up and then use the dismantle command on them, you can get Hermes sandals and sprint shoes, which cast haste at the beginning of battle or cast haste when you're critical. They also synergize with other items to give you ATB charge rate increases, which basically means your rate is charging for her 20% faster. For the other two girls, it's only 15 because they do not have a weapon. Lightning has a weapon, which also adds that effect. So she's got 4 different things, each giving a 5% faster charge. They only have 3. And the other things, you've got the nimble toe boots help her with evade, which is useful for her. Sprint shoes, haste at the beginning. The big thing also that I really like is, especially when you're just grinding against stuff, is Aurora Scarf. It starts battle with a full charge, with a full gauge. Very useful for grinding, not as useful in other situations. But they both, and all 3 of them now have a second tier version of the weapons they were using before. So Lightning has an Enkindler instead of the Zweihander. She now has an ATB charge level 2. Slightly recharges ATB gauge each time an enemy is attacked. Plus haste, plus ATB rate charge. I mean, the idea is that she just gets turns off really, really quickly. I think she already had the Marlboro wand, although I don't know if I had it leveled up quite as high as this. And she has Gungnir, which is an improved version of Galeboard, or whatever the heck. She has improved counter, too. So they have weapons. The only way for me to get these any higher would be to make ultimate weapons using tetrahedrons, and blah blah blah. I'm not even going to bother to explain it, except to say that you really can't do that until the post-game. So while I could have chosen a different weapon for each of them to level, I've chosen my weapons, and I've now leveled them as far as you can in story play, basically. Now, these guys, they've got kind of a different set of stuff going. I've got stuff for Zaz, which works with his weapon to increase the duration of buffs, but the Energy Sash restores a small amount of TP each time an enemy is defeated. Not that useful, but it synergizes with this weapon to give him something called Random Instant Chain, which means that every time you attack with a Ravager or Commando skill, there is a very small chance that you will... it's just like a random chance, small chance, but every single time there's like a dice roll where you may instantly stagger your enemy. And the Beetlejuice custom weapon, which is that is the leveled up, that is the second tier version of a weapon he'd been using, which has stagger maintenance, which is a skill only Zaz can get, extends the duration for which the enemy remains staggered. So you actually stagger enemies a little bit longer. With Snow, I've given him a bunch of rune bracers, which increase magic resistance, only because Umbra doesn't have a particularly good synergy, but it synergizes with these to give him magic wall, which means that he absorbs 20 points of magic damage. It's probably really not that hot. I'll probably have to switch this up later. But Umbra is... Oh, what the... I was gonna level this... That's right, his isn't. He is the only guy who's still using... He doesn't have something that's been leveled up yet. Because I'd need to buy a reagent that I don't have. But it's one you can buy, but I need about... I've only got about 19,000 gil right now because I spent all the money on something for Zaz. So as we get more money, I will eventually be able to boost him. But right now he has the worst weapon of anybody because he doesn't have improved ward level 2. His hasn't been leveled up. And Hope has something that just got leveled up, and it hasn't had any points put into it since then, so it's only at level 16. But it does have a passive ability at level 2, so you can tell that it's one step further along the evolution. This one could be leveled up and then turned into an ultimate weapon eventually. But I'm giving him poison resist stuff just because I didn't really feel like just giving him lots of Watchman's Amulets to give ludicrously long buff duration. And there you go. So what I'm going to do in the next video is we're going to actually get on with the plot. And what I'm going to do is I said that I was going to play with the ladies. Well, I was using them for all my off-screening and I'm kind of sick of them. And I actually put time and effort, not as much, but I put some time and effort, especially with Zaz, into getting them good gear. So next time, folks, what I've decided, and I could change my mind at any time, is I'm going to play through the remainder of this act, which is a long act. And we are less than halfway through the plot portion, although certainly I've spent most of the time I will be spending on this act already in the off-screening portion. But for the remainder of this act, we are going to play as the dudes. It's time for the dudes to get busy on you. So we're going to give the boys a chance to play. We're going to give the ladies a chance to rest. We're going to finish this act using the boys. Let's hear it for the boys. And then come the next act, I will probably bring the ladies back into service. Unless I become really attached to playing as Zaz. And if that happens, our final party will end up being this. Unless I also get really attached to Snow. In which case our party will be this. But I will tell you this for sure. This act will probably be the last we're seeing of Hope. Because Hope just really irritates me. So next time, folks, we'll be back with a new party, and we'll be back and actually get a new plot. I'm Mysterious JG. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.